Good evening, blade enthusiasts, and thank you for tuning in to another Studio GDT review. Tonight, I'm really excited to talk to you because we have a new manufacturer to be able to display on the channel here. And that manufacturer is DremSword, aka DremSword, if you read it how it's written on the website. Really stoked to be able to talk to you about it today because it was another fantastic experience that was kind of unexpected. I found them by accident. I was looking for a specific type of Zukuri, and I was looking at images, and a couple of images started popping up, and they were pretty attractive looking swords. So I clicked in, said, hey, this is another sword provider, DremSword. Let's take a look at what this is all about and kind of dive a little bit further. So I hope that if you haven't heard about this brand, I hope that it's exciting to you. If you have heard about this brand, I hope it might reinforce some things that we talk about a little bit later, clear up some rumors and some myths about a couple of items. But before I go any further, there is one thing that I want to ask of you, the viewers. Right now, social media is a very difficult place to be if you're if you're a manufacturer of edged items or firearms or certain things like that. It's just not a very friendly place in that most of your reach is extremely restricted. Swords and martial arts are no exception to that. This manufacturer is relatively new on social media. More competition in the marketplace is always a good thing. So we want everybody to be successful. If everybody's successful, then there's more options out there. So I'm going to ask something I don't normally ask, but do me a favor. If you like the product that's in this review, follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. Follow them on YouTube. Because unfortunately, they can't really grow right now. It's a restriction that's in place that we're at the mercy of the overlords for. So that being said, I'll go ahead and get off my soapbox, and we'll go ahead and get to the disclaimers and then get to the review. I am a novice Japanese swordsmanship practitioner. I am a novice sword reviewer. I do not pretend to be an expert on either of those things, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. It is purely my opinions and my observations, and hopefully that helps you out in some way. This sample was partially paid for, so it wasn't a full review sample. It wasn't a full paid for sample. If you think that would make my opinion sway one way or the other, at least you know up front. DremSword's website has a nice clean look to it with some pretty pleasing pictures that come up. They've got custom sword options as well as pre-made options, pretty much your standard offering from Longshuan. But they have a different aesthetic. I think you'll see when you're browsing their site here. They've got lots of different steel options. You can get those through pull downs or through filters. They've got very good pictures, which is something that I like. You're going to have options for fittings and Tsubas and all other sorts of stuff that you can see on the pull down menu here. But let's talk a little bit about the company in general. DremSword's been around for about 15 years and is really just getting into the social media games. That's why a lot of people don't know about them. They are their own factory. They do not outsource their production, so they make all of their swords in-house. They also do a lot of custom work according to what you would want, a lot of hand painting on different types of saya and things like that. So it might not be for everybody, but you can see that they do really take pride in their work and what they do. Immediately upon opening the box, I was greeted with something I have yet to see from any of these other sword manufacturers, and that was a typed letter including handwritten portions of it thanking me for my purchase. It also told me how important I was to them as a customer, how they wanted to know if there was anything wrong with the sword immediately, that if I mentioned the letter in a future purchase that I would get another discount. It was really just a nice touch. Continuing the experience is a sword bag that has their logo on it, which I thought was a nice touch. It's not the bottom level sword bag, it's not a top level sword bag, but it is a functional sword bag, and I like the little monogram touch on it. On top of this, there was a sword bag inside the sword bag just to protect the saya one step further. They are obviously very serious about the representation of their product and how you feel when you receive it. Finishing up the trifecta of personal touches was this nice hanging tag, which gives you how to use the katana and how to care for it. The entry-level sword that we're looking at today is a 1095 through hardened Unokubi-Zukuri. That means making the neck of a cormorant. As we look at this from bottom to top, you'll see it's anything but an entry-level sword by its feature set. The Tsuka is a haichi shape that features real rayskin panels. It has a thin profile and uses synthetic silk ito. You can see at first glance that the ito looks relatively well done. There's maybe 1 or 2 diamonds that aren't in alignment with the rest, and a little bunch at the end, but overall it looks good. Starting with the kashira, I thought the fittings were really nice looking. They had an antique look to me without looking overtly fake. It fit well against the tsuka itself and was relatively well blended. In fact, really it was the ito that actually stuck out a little bit than the kashira, which I'm okay with. The manuki, which was part of a bonsai theme, was crisp and detailed, as was the fuchi. If you look here, it looks like the fuchi might have a crack through it. That's actually in the mold, which is my only complaint. It does come with the territory, however. Initial impressions for this entry-level, dare I say, budget katana are pretty high just based on the tsuka fitment itself. But let's look a little bit closer in a little bit more detail. How well does it hold up? I continue to be impressed by this sword because it has one of the tightest wraps that I've ever felt for a tsuka that does not have hishigami and does not have full samegawa wrap. It is kind of crazy what I'm feeling at this price point. This is a budget sword, and this thing is locked up pretty damn tight. Internally, the tsuka work was clean and there were no cracks to be seen. Since we have the tsuka off, let's take a look at the nakago. It has equal hamachi and munemachi, and the mei is on the correct side. Let's pop the top fittings off and have a closer look at what we've got. The tsuba on this is made of iron. It's clean. I love it. The installation was also correct if you take a look at that. That is something that is frequently done incorrectly, so they got it right. Again, at this price point, we have copper habaki, which has some nice file marks on it. There was care. There's the internal shelf to make sure that it meets up with the sword. The alignment of the habaki was good against the munemachi. You can see the alignment is good here in this side profile angle. It's a little bit off at the ha, but you can't win them all. The tsuka and blade alignment is perfect. And I'm not making this up, folks. This is a sub $200 sword right now, and look at the sword to saya fitment on this. It's crazy. Now here's the fun part. The saya is kind of this paradox of the whole piece because it's obviously where they saved the most money. However, there's great care taken to how the sword fits within it. There's minimal rattle in it. There's this feel that there's a nice tight groove for the mune to travel like it should. And you can kind of see in this video how it slows to a stop a little bit, and then you get a nice gentle insertion on it, and you're good to go. We don't have any special tapering here, but the lacquer work is good, and there's no indentations from the sageo being tightened before the lacquer had set. The koiguchi is of the plastic type, to be expected. The kurigata is wood, the shirodome are plastic, they are not pressed in. And the sageo is of the very, very loose kind of shoelace type, as we say. And there is no real kojiri. Again, if you're looking at areas where money was saved, this is where money was saved. However, it fits well, so who cares? Let's take a look at the best part, the sharp end. This is a 1095 steel through hardened blade featuring a mirror polish finish. You could probably tell me that this sword was chrome plated, and I might believe you for a second if I didn't have it in my hands and I could actually see the polishing marks. This is probably one of the best mirror polish finishes that I have ever seen from the factory. It is blingy. That might not be for everyone, but if I have a through hardened sword that doesn't have a homon on it, I would like it to look pretty. It has a nice shape here in the Unokubi-Zukuri fashion. There is some Sori on it. I don't have that measurement handy, so I apologize for that. This sword is on the thinner side of having Niku, but it should make it a very fast cutter. The blade flats are clean and well defined, as you can see in these images here. It's hard to capture just how bright the polish is in video, even in stills. It is paper cutting sharp. I will not cut paper in the videos anymore because I feel it's very arbitrary and inconsistent. We will see how well it performs at a later date when it comes to cutting actual targets. I also think it's pretty awesome to be able to get the Unokubi style at this price point. In these pictures and video, you can see the transition that makes that cormorant neck that is its namesake. You know, you think budget sword, you're limited to something that really doesn't have any character. This is probably one of the kind of most interesting character swords that I've put my hands on, and again, it's well under $200. The sword feels great in the hand and to swing, and I look forward to being able to continue to demo this in future reviews that we have planned in our channel roadmap. So, wow. I don't know if you were as impressed as I was. I think I was even more impressed when I saw what the final price point of this item was going to be, and then you take that into consideration to what they have it on sale for as of the time of this filming, which is $189, and it's just kind of ridiculous. You know, you've got a 1095 through hardened blade in a unique geometry with quality fittings, quality for the segment tsuka work, right? On that, you've got a nice fitting saya on it. Are there a couple of pieces here and there that are lacking a little bit? Sure, but they're the small ancillary things. Sageo, you know, everybody would want to replace sageo on that, right? I mean, other than that, really, you've got a fantastic deal. So I hope that you liked this sword. I hope it made you interested in going to check out this manufacturer that I think is kind of not very well known right now, and we could change that a little bit. Again, more competition is a good thing. So I hope you liked it. Take a look at it on the website. They've got a promotional price going on it right now, and I think if you added it to your collection, I don't think you'd be disappointed. So thank you to DremSword for the sample, and more to come. Have a good night, everybody.